Joining us right now with his insights on the data and the outlook for this year is the man that we teased right before the break. Mike Wilson is the Chief Investment Officer.
Teasing him during the break,
Chief U.S. Equity Strategist for Morgan Stanley. So, what's going to happen, crystal ball?
Well, a crystal ball, can be cloudy, it can be clear. I think it's pretty clear right now that it's more of the same. I think that what happened last year is now still playing through, which is that there's a lot of consternation around these policy changes. That all was kitchen sink kind of in the first quarter. They flipped it really quickly, and the market has really adopted that narrative now.
Right.
The Fed seems to be in a good place. I think the big surprise, the change from, say, end of last year to current is a net positive, is that the Fed now is addressing these liquidity concerns that we've been talking about proactively.
Okay.
I wasn't sure they would do that, but they're now purchasing assets again to make sure the funding markets are stable. And I think that wild card was there. I think that's been taken off the table now. So look, the earnings picture is crystal clear to us. We've been probably leading in that view in terms of where we think earnings can be this year. We think it broadens out. That's starting to play through some of the stocks already, and I think that's the year we're looking at.
Do the midterms matter at all, do you think, given that we're in a midterm year?
Well, I think they matter in the sense that we know the government's going to be supportive. So that what that means is we're going to get corrections along the way, okay? Like if we don't have a 10% correction, that would be unusual at some point this year. Trying to predict the timing of that's weird. I'm not worried about that because I think ultimately it'll be bought for the reasons we talked about. Growth is good. Okay, visibility on earnings is quite good. The Fed seems to be, in a good place. And we have policy support going into the midterms if something were to go haywire.
How do you think about the employment situation? We're in this sort of growthy period, and yet we also have a growthy unemployment situation.
Yeah, well, I would say it's not. It's neutral. I wouldn't. Okay. Employment is not growing rapidly, particularly in the private sector still. And this is where, as you know, we have a very differentiated view from last year, which is we think the labor market bottomed in April.
Right.
And we've done a lot of analysis around this. We still discuss this with clients, and there's a lot of disagreement around this point. But the market is telling you very clearly that the rate of change on the employment market bottomed in April, and that's a positive. Now, the thing about employment, you have to remember, the data lags. And so the data is going to remain weak probably into the first half of this year, but that's backward looking. But what that will do is it would allow the Fed to cut rates and to be more supportive on the balance.
But we decided off camera that if earnings per share or earnings, you said at least double digits, and you said the surprise would be high double digits. Or
high teens.
High teens. Okay, so you got that. Then we got to figure out the multiple. If the multiple were to just stay where it is or even contract a little, that just seems like you're almost baking in some type of advance for stock markets, unless there's a shock of some sort.
That's right. So that's our base case, is that or high teens growth. And
now we got to figure out the shock, though.
Well, we don't forget. Let's talk about the other side. Okay.
If it doesn't,
there's a risk that multiples expand. Okay. If the Fed is actually as generous as they're kind of alluding to potentially with the new chair, you could see the back half of next year see multiple expansion, right? It could be a repeat. That's where then I would get worried about valuation. I'm not worried about valuation here, but if multiples expanded and we had sort of a bubbly type atmosphere, that's an upside risk potentially in the second half of the year. Something to think about.
Do you have any
problem I could deal with that problem?
Yeah, it's
to the extent there's been a lot of hand wringing about AI and about whether we're in some kind of bubble or something cracks there. Do you have any anxiety on that front?
Not now, because we're in the process now of raising more capital in the debt markets. Like that process has just begun. Let's look back at the 90s as a good proxy for this, or even the fracking, capital expenditures that ended, with a credit problem. We just started raising credit. Okay, you can't have
it's too early.
It's too early to be worried about that. And so what I'm looking for, though, Andrew, which is critical, is you got to watch the credit markets. The credit markets will tell us early. For example, in the late 90s, credit topped in the fall of 98.
Okay.
Year and a half, before, or almost 2 years before the tech bubble sort of burst. Now, could there be another reason why AI CapEx collapses? There's another shock. Maybe there's a new technology that comes out of China that suggests that this CapEx that we're doing is irrelevant. I don't see that currently, like another DeepSeek kind of fear. I'd be more worried about that than I would be worried about sort of credit rolling over in a way that constrains the spending.
Okay, so if you could only own one thing for the year, what would you own?
Well, for the full year, I'd say I still think consumer goods is an area where there's a lot of pent-up demand. They've been through somewhat of a recession. Okay, that's an area where it's going to get a big boost from the big beautiful bill from the tax cuts in the first half of this year, and then of course rates coming down and the attack on affordability I think could be quite good for.
Have the banks already made their run?
Some of them, for sure. But, I mean, one thing that surprised me is that the banks, and we've had a pretty good correction since September in a lot of, like, speculative parts of the market. And the financials have not given up any of those gains. I think that's the banks telling you that this deregulation change is real. I mean, that's going to accrue right to the bottom line for a lot of these banks. And I think the Treasury Secretary is very focused on getting the community banks and the regional banks going. And that engine of growth, which has been missing for a period of time, should drive a very good earnings story for most of the financials.
Didn't use the T word or the I word. Tariffs, or really haven't said anything about inflation, I don't think.
Let's start with the easy one, okay? Inflation. This is also differentiated view. One thing that would bother me is if inflation collapses, okay? Like, we need some inflation. In other words, pricing power. Seeing companies pass through some of these costs that have been in the system. That's good for stocks until the Fed has to react to it. I don't see that being a risk for this year. It's a positive development. So I think inflation is going to stay where it is, maybe even accelerate in some areas, particularly from an earnings standpoint. And then on tariffs, I mean, look, we have a big announcement potentially tomorrow. Rebate on these tariffs. Short term, that would be a positive for some of our consumer areas. I don't really have a
that could come about what, the Supreme Court? You're talking about?
The Supreme Court ruling. I don't know how they're going to rule on that, but short term, it could be a positive. They decide that these tariffs had to be refunded. I think it'll get caught up in the courts ultimately, and I think they'll find other ways to increase tariffs through executive order.
You mentioned Bessent. In general, do you like some of the people that are running things now, like Bessent? I think Bessent, isn't he like an asset right now? Don't
Fantastic.
You think?
I mean, I think the cabinet, for the most part, is quite impressive. A lot of them come from private industry, which is good.
Which is a shocking change. Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're lifers. They're not going to. Some of them are lifers, but I think a lot of them are not going to be lifers. They're there to do a job, and I think they work very, very hard. That's what I like to see.
I was thinking maybe Jay Powell is pretty good. I was thinking that. I mean, inflation got out of hand. It did. There's no doubt, but maybe that was pandemic related. But since then, I just don't see a lot to really carp about right now in terms of monetary policy. Do you?
No, but that's why the markets are so relaxed. I mean, like bond vols relaxed.
Yeah.
And that was one thing I was worried about, as I said at the beginning, which is the liquidity picture has deteriorated since September. But now the Fed is getting in front of that. Okay, and that's Jay Powell doing his job. I mean, everybody criticizes the Fed, but I mean, Jay Powell's been a good chair. He has done his job when he needed to. He's a rational person.
So how's he going to go down in the end?
I think as a guy who dealt with a crisis pretty well, generally. I mean, he had obviously a snafu in 22. He let inflation get too far out of the bag. But let's not forget that the government was spending money like crazy post the pandemic. And so the Fed's job, as I've said many times, is to help the government fund itself. So that he got criticized for doing QE in 2021 and not raising rates. But like, we didn't know at that point. We couldn't let the thing collapse because then you have deflation. And that's a real problem.
Their job is to be a partner in crime and enable the profligate spending.
Well, so
that's what they're supposed to do.
Some people think that he's. I mean, look, the president doesn't like him, but there's other people who think he should be on Rushmore. I mean,
It's a tough job. Okay, it's a tough job. We can all criticize him. We have the Monday morning quarterbacking. Okay, but at the end of the day, I think they do the best they can with the data they have.